You can't tell nobody you love them. You don't tell yourself you love you. Eyes are horrible receivers, amazing transmitters. And if that go over your head, I'm sorry. That's for who it's for. If you not good for the place you lay, you not good for that place you trying to get paid at, bottom line. Why else does the sun rise if it ain't rising? Give understanding to yourself first, and you can then give that to other people.
Dear viewer, dear listener, dearest you, for the sake of energies and their respected vibrations, it's important that you know in this very moment, you are whole, you are love, you are light, and you are laughter. Welcome to a podcast by Joe Lewis.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, lovers, haters, things in between, it don't matter if you red, blue, or green, we are happy to have you back. Listening, watching, and hanging out on yet another episode of a podcast by Joe Lewis. Today, we're yapping about relationships. I was live streaming yesterday, and I asked the chat, so what should we talk about? And Sharoni said we need to be talking about relationships because that shit pops. Everybody goes crazy over relationship content. I said, shit, fuck. Oh no. You gotta talk about relationships? She said relationships. Oh, I love relationships. I love love. And I thought, fuck, what are we gonna talk about? I don't want to talk about relationships, like from a romance only perspective. I don't believe myself to be like, I don't believe you can be a guru no matter how much you study on relationships, because you should be the thing that makes you a guru or learning or an expert on relationships is being an expert. I mean, it's not that you can't be an expert on relationships, but I would like to see those people's relationships. How do they learn all this shit? Probably from not, the trial and error of things, the error more so. So I don't like to come across as an expert on relationships. I do like to come across I do like to come across as an expert on the relationships that I have. And I do like to be confident and an expert in my relationship with a person or my relationship with something. And I think that's, I guess, maybe where we start this conversation at. I think we should be confident in our relationships. And if we are in a type of relationship that doesn't promote confidence or security or safety or understanding more so, we need to get out of that relationship. Whether it's professional, personal, doesn't matter. It's not good. It's not for the betterment of you. And it's taken me some time to learn that. And I think a lot of us struggle with actually understanding relationships, and realizing that they should be about a willingness to understand. And the more I learn about relationships and the more I learn about healthy relationships, I'm seeing that no matter what the relationship is, both sides or both parties have a desire of some sort to understand the other side and to put away certain types of judgments or certain ways of thinking or whatever the case is. The healthy relationships choose to promote confidence for the other side to know, hey, you got me, I got you, and we're good. And whatever this endeavor may be, that's a healthy partnership. That's a healthy relationship. When things don't promote that, that's not good. When things promote insecurity, when relationships promote fear, when they promote bitterness, when they promote whatever the opposite of understanding is, the inability to comprehend, hatred, not love. When people begin to believe that they are in a relationship and it's you versus them, but y'all are together, or they got to get over on you when you're in the middle of a deal and they want to negotiate something that's only favorable in them so that they win, and it's not a win-win. It's not promoting confidence and security. It's promoting confidence and security in self. And self-preservation is a thing too, but not amongst relationships. So you get into the relationship to preserve self. So you can't think about self-preserving amongst the relationship because the role of the relationship is to help you preserve anyways, right? In some type of capacity. If it wasn't the case, you wouldn't have a fucking relationship with this thing, right? So if your job wasn't to help you self-preserve, you wouldn't have a relationship with your boss and with your job. You got a relationship with your job, you do shit with your job do shit with you, right? If it wasn't for self-preservation, you wouldn't have that. You don't need to start thinking about preserving self with the thing that's helping you preserve self. Because now you're going against it, right? So imagine everybody don't love their job, but let's imagine we love our jobs, right? We love our occupations. Could you imagine going against something you love that's helping you do all the things you want to do in life? It's helping you self-preserve. Would you really go against a thing that's paying all your bills and putting a smile on your face? Probably not. Because it's helping you, right? Now, when that thing ain't helping you, what do? Oh, man, fuck my boss. Yeah, it's a bad relationship. But it's not helping you preserve yourself. It's going against self-preservation. Actually, you're not happy. And I think we need to start to account for these things in our life. In the relationships, you need to start to account for relationships need to be held accountable for the role that they're playing. You need to be held accountable for the role you're allowing relationships to play in your life. Now, I believe that people who are happiest with their relationships in general, right now I'm not talking about romance or platonic or professional or there's no detail right now when I'm talking about relationships. Excuse me. Got the hiccups. Boom. Scared myself, got them away. So there's no details right now, I guess, into which type of relationships I'm referring to, because I'm referring to all of the interactions we should be having with humans. The relationships you hold or how you treat people in relationships are a reflection of you, always. At my worst, I've treated people horribly. At my best, I've treated people great. At other people's worst, they've treated me horribly. At other people's best, they've treated me great, right? So the way we treat people and the way we allow ourselves to be treated, it's a double-edged sword. Is it only a reflection of ourselves? When I allow people to treat me poorly, not only was that a reflection of them, but that was also a reflection of me. We're both two poorly feeling people. You feel poor. You treat me poorly. I feel poorly. I accept poor treatment. Oh, now we're in a shit show. Right? The relationships that we hold and how we treat the relationships and how we allow these relationships to reflect on us, treat us, make us feel, are reflections of how we feel about ourselves. There's no other way to accept that. So I kind of struggled a bit when I said, okay, what the fuck am I going to say about relationships? Because relationships are all about self-preservation. It's all about you. You're not going to have a healthy relationship in any type of capacity until you got a healthy relationship with yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you put a smile on your face? Will you dare look yourself in the eyes? My mama preached a sermon one time. She said, if you can't look in the mirror and let yourself know that you are beautiful and wonderfully made, and that you are amazing, and that the sun does rotate around your big ass head, and that the birds do chirp only to wake you up because, well, that's how amazing you are. Who else could the birds be singing for if not for me? Why else does the sun rise if it ain't rising for me? in competition with my smile, the sun is, trying to see if it's brighter than my eyes. The moon wants to figure out how she can outglow me. You can't do that. Why else would the moon come up every night and glow, if not to try and outglow Joe? If you don't think that about yourself when you look in the mirror, my baby, my mama said you don't love yourself. Ooh, boy, I love me some me. I love me some Joe. That shit. What? Joey, let's go, Joey. Fuck with me. I fuck with me, chat. Oh, man. I fuck with me because I hold me down. I get me together. My boy Snoop Dogg, he when he got his Hollywood square, or when he got his Hollywood star, I'm sorry, he said, and I'd like to thank me. I like to thank me. Because for holding me down, for not giving up on me. Because there's some times where I almost said, fuck me, but me got me together. And boy, do I love me some me, because me been holding me down. Me been getting me right. Me been helping me. So if you ain't here for me, if this relationship ain't starting to treat me how I treat me, because I treat me real fucking good now, you know? That's when shit started to change. So it became real hard to start, okay, what am I going to say about relationships? Because I believe that whatever the fuck is going on in your relationships, that's what you got going on your inside. When I treated people bad, I was bad. When I allowed to be treated bad, I was bad. When I treated people good, I was good. When they allowed me to treat them good, they were good. There have been moments where two bad things happened. There have been moments where two good things were happening. There are moments where I might have treated a person bad, but they demanded greatness, and I wasn't that, got rejected. There was a time where people treat me bad, I demand greatness, get rejected. I'm vibing one way, you vibing another. It's a mismatch. We're vibing the same, it's a match. So you have to ask yourself, do I feel like my relationships are treating me bad right now? Are you treating yourself bad? I bet your bottom dollar y'all synced up, lined up. You allow piss poor treatment because you treat yourself piss poor. You see yourself piss poor. You tell yourself you're piss poor. If you tell yourself you're pretty, you felt piss poor when you said it. You got pretty piss poor energy. It is what it is. So piss poor attracts piss poor. The fuck do you think is going to happen? Good attracts good. Great attracts great. Divinity attracts divinity. Right? They attract their inverses, of course, but they attract their likeness. Right? So it's hard to talk about relationships. We're just going to be talking about self. It don't matter how there is no tactic. See, that's the thing. I want some relationship advice. We're strategizing love now. I got relationship advice for you. Be authentic and operate in love. Be real to yourself. Be real with these people. Operate in love. What more do you want? You want a strategy on how to get the girl. You want a strategy on how to get the man. You want a strategy on how to make your business partner give you a higher percentage. You want a strategy on how to be an alpha in a room. What you want to talk? The first relationship anybody needs to have a conversation with is their relationship with themselves. I believe your relationship with yourself may be more crucial than your relationship with God, because it takes self-awareness to realize you wrong with God or your creator or whoever the fuck else you believe in. I didn't say that you need to praise yourself. What I said is that your relationship with yourself, and you need to know yourself enough to know if you don't got a good relationship with God. So you got to start with your relationship with yourself, in my opinion. You know? It's my relationship with myself that made me go, Ooh, buddy, you don't like yourself. No wonder why you think God don't like you. No wonder why you think everybody else around you don't like you. You don't like yourself. Now, all of these things do coincide, right? The love for myself, the love for God, the love for other people, the love for the world, the love for all living things, the love for whatever my eyes can lay themselves upon. I love it because I have this ability to see. I have this ability to breathe. I have this ability to be present. I have this ability to say, wow, that's beautiful. And to see, I have this ability to desire to see the beauty in things, you know? So I don't damn. All right, 14 minutes in on this one. 14 minutes in, we go, what the fuck are we talking about again? Relationships. I'm like, damn, why was I saying all that? Aside from, it's going to be about how we see things, how we see ourselves, how we're choosing to see things. Oh, that's what I was saying. So it was my relationships with other things that helped me get, a better love for self. It was my ability to love God when I didn't love myself that helped me love myself, of course. But it was the self-awareness of my relationship with myself that made me go, if you don't got a good relationship with yourself, you can't possibly have a good relationship with God. You can't possibly have a good relationship with your mom and dad. You can't possibly be being a great brother to your siblings. That you can't possibly be interacting properly with the rest of the world as a universal citizen. You can't possibly be doing any of these things great, or you can't hold good relationships because you don't have a good relationship with yourself. You can't be aware of how your mom and your dad feel. You're not aware of how you feel. You can't be aware of your God. You aren't aware of self. You can be aware of, could you imagine that? Think about that. Just from the most simplest of forms. How can you sit here and attempt to want relationships, awareness, comprehension, interactions, exchanges with anything else when you aren't even going to do that with yourself? We never know how to properly do it. We don't know how to properly exchange energy with another person because we don't understand the energy exchange amongst ourselves. Like literally within ourselves, we don't understand the energy transaction that we give from body to spirit. That happens there. That happens from from mind to body. How about they say mind over body or mind over matter? We don't even understand that in self a lot of times. So until we can start to understand the relationships that we have amongst ourselves, the relationship between our mind and our body, the relationship between our upper body and our lower body, the relationship between our eyes and our ears, the relationship between our ears and our brain, the relationship between lungs and air and the body. So until we start to comprehend the relationships that we have amongst ourselves internally, we're going to struggle with external relationships. Always. Right? Always. By default. It was comprehension of self that made me go, oh, here's some comprehension of God. Here's some comprehension of other people. Here's some comprehension of life. Because I don't know what book y'all reading, but the book I read say all of this shit on the inside. I read a couple different books, and most of all of the books say that all of this shit's on the inside, right? New Testament readers, what that shit say? Kingdom of God is what? Within you. But in your Father's house is what? Many mansions. So many mansions are where? Within you. Because what? These words, not mine. Y'all reading them too, huh? So choose what you believe, of course. But I believe until you got an internal relationship, all external things will fail. Could you imagine driving a car and the motor doesn't work? No, you can't imagine driving a car without a motor because you're not fucking Fred Flintstone. Think about that shit. You cannot imagine driving a car without a fucking thing that internally works and has a proper relationship because you're not Fred Flintstone. You don't drive with your fucking feet. Same shit. How possibly could you drive a relationship when the internal thing isn't working? It's off. Relationship's gonna be off. You don't got a good relationship with yourself. You can't tell nobody you love them. You don't tell yourself you love you. We're all lying. I mean, I'm not. And there's some people out here that's not lying. But in the masses, we're lying. Humankind is lying. Mankind is lying. We don't love each other. We don't love these things. Hardly do we love ourselves. We idolize one another. We idolize these things. We lust. We want. Hardly do we actually put desire behind something we want. fixate, lust. Do we have proper relationships? Those of us that have proper relationships and are happy with our relationships amongst other people, generally, in our general relationships, we're happy with ourselves. Those of us who are unhappy with some of the relationships we hold with other people, we are unhappy with the relationships that we have with ourselves. Those of us who find ourselves upset at a deity or at a god or at some gods, we don't have a proper relationship with ourselves. Of course, you don't understand this thing. You don't understand yourself. Of course, you don't understand him. Baby, you ain't choose to understand yourself. Of course, you don't understand her, boy. You ain't choose to understand you first. Of course, it makes no fucking sense for where you don't understand how trees grow. You never stop to think about how you grew. So no, these relationships and these comprehensions don't make sense because you never looked on the inside to make it make some sense. You never thought about it to make it make some sense. You didn't make the relationship with self make some sense. You can't love somebody you never loved yourself. You can't understand somebody else you never understood yourself. You can't be patient with somebody else you were never patient with yourself. You can't call somebody beautiful you never called yourself beautiful. You can't actually want somebody to be great you've never wanted yourself to be great. You don't want a person to find the love of their life. You're not finding the love of your life because you not the love of your life. Closer to hopes, wishes, and prayers than our actual things of desires and actionable. You know, when I talk about relationships, we just start talking about ourselves. How's your relationship with you? How did you deal with you today? Did you love you some you? Did you do something to put a smile on your face? Let's talk about that relationship. Let's talk about the relationship you got with a smile, with your smile. Did you like it when you see it? Let's talk about the relationship you got with yourself, with your eyes. Do you break your own eye contact? Or when you look at yourself in the eyes, do you get giddy the way that I do? Do you like what you see? They call these two thieves portals to the inside for a reason. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. These eyes will tell you something. They'll lie to you, but they'll tell you some shit too. Eyes are horrible receivers, amazing transmitters. And if that go over your head, I'm sorry. That's for who it's for. So if you can't stomach to receive what your eyes transmit, let's fix that relationship between you and your eyes, between your inner and how you perceive externally. You know? Let's change the relationship you got with your own smile. You can't even say the word smile without me smiling because I love to smile. That's the relationship I have with my smile. Let's talk about the relationship you got with your artwork. Ooh. We'll hit some nerves on that one. Do not talk about relationships and how amazing love is and how you're going to deal with this type of person. And they're doing this and somebody will go, oh, where's so-and-so at? And then some smart ass in the corner go, I don't know. In my skin, I jump out, you jump in. Ain't nobody ever did that shit before. I ain't never jumped. I done been inside some, and ain't nobody never, y'all get what I'm trying to say. Ain't nobody never jumped out skin and somebody hopped back in, you know? Allegedly. Like that. And because of that, I think other people don't matter. You made it about them. You're not about you. Selfishness is what got you here. Selfishness is what created life, not unselfishness. Selfish, and think about that. Selfishness got you here. And selfishness to the point of unselfishness is what got you here safely. Let's think about that. There was some doctor who said, damn, I want to be the best, in theory. He said, I want to be the shit. I want to deliver babies. Ego. I said, ego driven to a certain point would turn selfishness into selflessness so long as your heart has the right contents, right? So a person whose heart is good and who's selfish, that shit turns into unselfish. Like, they got to put the love somewhere so it just goes back out to people. There's some of us who can't do that, but there are some of us who can afford that, who can be that kind of person. We got to be selfish because we're just going to our selfishness turns into selflessness once it's at the right point. I take care of myself, I can take care of everybody now. I can take care of myself, rejuvenate, and I can take care of everybody again. I can rejuvenate, then I can give. I rejuvenate, then I give, right? There are some of us who are like that. So all right, 25 minutes and lost train of thought again. That's good, though. That's good. A good yappage. Shotty that told me she wanted to hear about the relationships also said, I like the high yaps, too. My baby. I hope you listen. So, self. I believe that if we're going to talk about relationships, we need to talk about the relationships that we have with ourselves. From my own experience, I believe that the more I get to know myself and the more intimate I'm with myself, the more intimate of relationships I demand. And the more energetic of relationships I demand, the more alignment in my relationships I demand. And I love that. And sometimes I look back at life and I say, what were you doing? But just because I was younger, learning, I know more, of course, today than I did yesterday. So oftentimes I look back and I go, that doesn't make any sense for today. Of course, it made sense in that moment, but I'm like, for today, it doesn't make any sense. And one of those things that doesn't make any sense is the relationships that I held with people. Because every relationship was not what I would deem divine. Every relationship was not what I would deem aligned or proper energy or proper synergy. Some relationships were necessary evils. Some relationships were for the hell of it. Some relationships were sounds good to have a relationship with this person, and so forth. And that's how I felt about myself. All of those things are how I felt about myself. I had relationships with partners that I only had a business relationship with them because I wanted to learn and they needed my service. Whatever. That's how I view myself. I used to be upset because my managers, I would get these music managers and I would say, bro, just bring me work. I just want to work. Use and abuse me. That's how I looked at myself. And that sounds good when you say it, like, I'm truly a workhorse when it comes to this music shit. Like, record, produce with the best of them. And they ain't got to leave a fucking room. Ain't got to ever leave a room because there's always something that I can do in that room. You need a writer, I'm a writer. You need a producer, I'm a producer. You need an engineer, I'm an engineer. You need a master, I'm a master. You need whatever the fuck you need, I'm in that shit. I made it so that I never have to leave the room. Ever. So when I had gotten there to that point of, oh, Joe, you ain't never got to leave these rooms. They'll never kick you out because there'll always be a problem. Right? So a person can say, Joe, I got my writer, I got my producer, I got my engineer. I got I got everything I need. Okay, but maybe you don't got a manager. Maybe you don't have a consultant. Maybe you ain't got some ideas. Maybe you ain't got some strategy. Maybe you ain't got some network. Maybe you need to know so and so. Maybe you just ain't got Joe Lewis and you need Joe Lewis around. Basically, right? I would get things to that point. Joe could be in this room. And, so I started to make myself undeniable. And when I realized, oh, you're undeniable, my next thing was use and abuse it. That's how I looked at myself. That shit obviously didn't work. That's not what I was supposed to be doing with my gifts, So, but that's how I looked at myself. I looked at and that's how I treated myself. I was just trying to do shit, slaving it out. And those things didn't work out. Those things didn't work out for me professionally. They didn't work out for me personally. I wasn't working out for myself when I felt like that. And every relationship around me was a direct reflection of how I felt about myself. And in the moment, how I felt about myself was work. Every relationship sufficed work. And even in the multitudes, sufficed work. And that's not healthy. Because when work went away, so did those relationships. And so did I feel myself go away. Because for so long, I was only these things. I was only ever the work that I did. And I was only ever the relationships that my work was. And how I began to treat work would be how I began to treat myself. How I begin to treat the sport would be how I begin to treat myself. I had always been like this. This wasn't like some new thing. This is how I've always been, And sometimes it would be reactive, sometimes it would be proactive. But nonetheless, there would be this interaction of how I am on the outside is how I am on the inside. How I am on the inside is how I am on the outside. If I'm doing really bad on the inside, I may be able to mask it and hide the way I'm projecting to people, but maybe not. But for the most part, there's cause and effect both ways to the relationships and how the things that are going on in relationships, and then the internal relationship I have with myself, right? Which one comes first? I think that's like asking the chicken or the egg type of thing, because everything is cause and effect from the very beginning. So theories, very deep theories, will say that you were in control from the very beginning and you chose your whole life. There are some theories in the life experience that most of us have is a cause and effect one, right? Two people had sex, that cause affected you to be born, and then they raised you, and that cause affected you to react and act a certain type of way and give you certain personality traits and trauma responses and reward seek out responses and certain type of classical conditionings and whatever the fuck, right? So there are a lot of psyches that are built up from the human experience also. Nonetheless, I digress in saying that the relationships that I have with things and people are definitely a reflection of how I felt on the inside, or vice versa. There was a moment in high school, and there was this girl. I was in high school. All my friends were a year or 2 years older than me, because when I came into the high school, all my friends from middle school went to the other high school. I went to my school because my parents were the assistant principals there. So I didn't know anybody there aside from the older kids who knew me because they knew my parents, and then the football team because of summer practices, and then the marching band because of band camp. One time at band camp. So all my friends were always older than me. And this was at the time of Twitter, and Twitter just kind of popped off. It used to go crazy. It was always about who could just get the most interaction with the tweet, who can go viral from a local perspective. And I made a very immature post about a person. I made what I thought was a joke. It was funny. It was definitely funny, but it was rude also. And I had to realize that it's okay to be funny, but not at the expense of another person, especially if they don't think that it's funny. And she didn't know that I had even made this post until she's seen it, but she was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, because I was just being funny. Like, I didn't even know who that person was. I had no idea. Like, I'd seen her in school, but I was just being funny, made a person a meme, basically, in some type of sense. And I didn't think of anything of it because it got a lot of funny interaction, right? And fast forward to my senior year, me and this girl are hanging out. And she said, "Joe, can I tell you something?" Like, she goes, I didn't, she goes, "I thought you were like this really big asshole. But I see that you're not. And I think I can tell you this now." And she let me know, she was like, "Hey, you really, like, you made this post and you made this joke, and that shit really affected me and really hurt me." And I thought, holy fuck, like, that's bad. Because I love her. I think that she is one of my favorite just energies that I've met in life. I think I was really appreciative of our friendship at this moment in high school. And I thought, wow, I hurt you. Like, that's very mean of me. That was rude, I felt bad. And it made me think, why would I have done something like that? And I just had to tell her the truth. I did not like myself at this time in life. I was very bitter at the world. I was very upset, very much so in a dark place. You want people to feel your misery, even if you believe that you don't want people to feel your misery, right? So I wanted people to feel my misery, but it came across as trying to make people laugh. I wasn't trying to hurt her feelings, but I still did something negative, right? So I just still some underlying of, I don't really know how to explain it. You could say that you're going for a laugh and that you're trying to be funny, but if that funny that you're going for is a negative, and it doesn't get received with love, because it wasn't like, I didn't make this joke out of love, and that's the most easiest way to say it, is that because I was in such a place of not love, when I made that joke, it wasn't out of love, so that means it was received as hate. So that's how that person perceived it. Was, wow, Joe hates me. And when she learned that I didn't hate her, she was like, "Hey, you made this joke that made me think that you hated me." And basically, and that's the best way to say it. This girl came to me and said, "Hey, you made a joke that made me think that you hated me. And I can see that you clearly don't hate me, but I need to let you know. Like, this shit affected me, and I thought that you hated me." And I thought, wow, I really a fucking POS, I apologized, and I just let her know. I'm sure that she wasn't the only one I did that to. And there were a lot of people who, like, I said some words to some people before, she was just one of the people to let me know, "Hey, you said this shit and it affected me." And I can see that she was wrong in how she perceived it, because she thought that Joe hates me. And she was like, "If we weren't cool right now like this, I wouldn't be telling you this." I'm glad that she told me, because that made me reflect on, why would I have been like that 2 years ago? I fucking hated life. in that moment. I just didn't understand it. I hated life. I hated who I thought I had to be. I hated showing up. I hated it. I hated playing my part, truthfully. And I hated what seemed like the downfall of playing my role in life. Like, for showing up, it didn't make sense. I wasn't reaping the benefits I wanted in life for showing up, and that's the best way I can put it. And I know that sometimes when we're young, we don't realize, or we think we're in control, or I don't know how to explain it. I can't say I was in much control of my life at fucking 14, but I can definitely say I did not care for having to show up, and I didn't feel like I was being rewarded for it. I didn't think I was properly being rewarded for being alive, and I believed that what's the purpose of being alive if we're taking all these fucking losses? We had a lot of deaths in the family, and it just wasn't making any sense. So I was bitter. I lost my grandmother 1 year, and then 3 years or 2 years before that, before my grandma was diagnosed with cancer, I lost my best friend. And before that, I could tell you every death I've ever been to, funeral, all of them. First death I've had was my mom's boss's daughter. She died in Australia in a car accident. And I would never forget that, like, learning what death actually was. And I'd had this horrible relationship with death from the beginning because it was incomprehensible. And at that time, it felt like life could get no worse. My best friend ever, like, this is my dude, dies 3 days before my 13th birthday. My grandmother, who was like me and my best friend's partner. My best friend was my cousin. But then my grandma dies when I'm in the 10th grade. We got 3 years apart from 7th grade, 10th grade. But she gets diagnosed with cancer when I'm in the 9th grade. But that's my lady. Like, that's me and my grandma was so tight we could beef out. I don't think there's a lot of kids that could beef with their grandparents and get away with that shit. Me and my sister were just talking about this the other day, but she's like, yeah, you used to piss her off. She used to piss me off, but me and my grandmother had such this relationship and understanding that it was more than just grandmother to grandson. There was just this understanding to where we could be ourselves enough to understand why this person is mad, and it ain't none of y'all fucking business as to what's going on between me and my old lady. We gonna beef out. So me and Shawty beefed out. That's a different conversation. And truthfully, I love that because I think that that's two people being authentic to the very end. Of course, me and my grandmother put, bygones are bygones, but when we let the bygones be bygones, if you wasn't about to die, we'd be still beefing. You can have to figure out who the fuck gonna get who. You winning right now because you about to go, but if you was taking better breaths, I get you. I'd still be mad. If you was taking better breaths, we'd be beefing right now, old lady. But since you about to choke, we're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it go right now. And I'll share that story because I take comfort in knowing that me and another person, me and another energy understood one another so well. To me, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful relationship to me. The relationship I have with my grandmother, not because it was all good, because me and my grandmother really used to go at it, and really had so much love for one another that it used to, like, we didn't like what the other person would be doing. I don't know how to explain that aside from, like, I don't like what you're doing. She didn't like what I was doing. And we didn't like how we was telling one another what the fuck that we don't like what the fuck you doing. I think you should do this. I think you should. Grandmas don't do that shit. Grandsons don't do that. Shut the fuck up, old lady. When the last time you was a kid, old ass, you don't know what the hell kids out here doing. And you ain't never been old. Fuck. You're right. All right. I want pick me up on Saturday. I'll see you in a couple days. Fuck. So I find authentic relationships and understanding, beautiful, you know. But I at the time when this person tells me, "Hey, Joe, you know, you hurt my feelings a couple years ago," I reflected on those 2 years, or when I look back at those 2 years, I didn't like myself. I didn't like myself because, again, I didn't feel like I was being rewarded for life. What's the purpose? Sometimes, you know, like, oh, the good die young and God takes his favors and all this other shit. And I'm watching people die. And I'm watching people go. And I'm like, dude, all right, so between these, the way they're letting me, like, just the way that this shit is looking, I'm a fucking loser. You know, I'm still here. I'm not a good one. I didn't die young. You know, fuck. What do we do? And he's taking mine. So I'm surrounded by a bunch of good die youngers. What the fuck? I'm not one of them? Shit. Fucking hey. It makes you rethink a little bit, chat. It makes you kind of go, I'm a POS. Might as well be a fucking POS, right? No, don't do that. But, you know, that's what I was thinking. You know, as a fucking 15-year-old, like, holy fuck, like, all these people are dying. I don't die. I must be bad. And I'm bad and I'm sad, right? That's how I'm feeling. I said, fuck, I must be bad because the good die young, I'm alive. And because the good die young, I'm sad as fuck because they keep fucking dying. Oh man, I'm Joe, you suck. You are horrid, my friend. I don't like myself. So because I don't like myself, I start to have improper interactions with people. Right? I don't like myself, I don't like you. I hate myself, I hate you. And because the way that I'm wired, I'm a multiplier, right? I'm a grower. So whatever I feel, I want others times 10. But just automatically, it doesn't matter. You made me feel good. Oh, I got to make you feel great. You made me feel good. We got to balance this shit out with the imbalance. You made me feel good. Got to make you feel great. And don't come back to me trying to make me feel greater because I'm going to try to make you feel excellent. We're going to go back and forth, making each other feel better than the time before. That's okay if that's what you need. But don't be trying to do that. Don't one up me. Because when you one up me, what I'm going to do is give you exactly what you gave me, plus something. I'm just going to like return to sender with an addition. Boom, gotcha. Gave you something, and boom, gotcha. Times 10. I love it. It's beautiful when it's positive. Oh, but when that shit is negative. Ooh, when I felt like that life had given me darkness, I felt that I had to give everybody's life darkness because life gave me darkness. Fuck shit. Everybody around me, y'all shit. Everybody walking around like the sun is out. Let me put a cloud in front of that shit real quick. Rain on your parade. Piss in your cereal. I will. And enjoy it. Because fuck you. And when you want to know, Joe, why fuck me? Because life said fuck me, so fuck you. They told me fuck me. I'm telling you fuck you. If you got a problem with it, you go tell somebody else fuck them. And everybody just going to be saying fuck it to everybody. And let's all be assholes. Let's be vile. Let's be ignorant. Let's be hatred. Let's be fucking disbelief and arrogant. And let's be fucking Let's just be stink guys. That's how I was feeling. So that's how I treated people. There was a person when I was in high school. They said, man, I love football. And then Joe started talking. He said he ruined it for me because he takes it so serious. He made me not like it anymore. I was just doing it for fun. I'm sorry. He didn't say he loved it, bull. He didn't let that shit use. I said I was doing it for fun. And then Joe started talking. He just loves it so much and he fucking ruined it for me. I thought about the relationship I had with myself in that moment. The relationship I had with football in that moment. Yeah, I was on your ass, buddy. I was chin checking the fuck out of you. And yeah, I was screaming and yelling at you because I was screaming and yelling at myself because I didn't know where I was going to school at into my senior year of college. The school that offered me a scholarship I couldn't get into because of my grades. So I pissed on that. So yeah, I'm hot going into my senior year. And yeah, we fucking suck compared to my junior year. So I'm pissed because all my fucking teammates is gone because they're a year older than me. I played a year up always. So my senior year, I'm now playing with my class in lower year. I've never played with these motherfuckers before. I don't know them. I'm pissed. And they suck. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And you're not taking it. You're out here for fun. I'm trying to fucking figure out how to get up out of here. Playing football for fun? The fuck? The fuck are you talking about fun? I fucking hate losing. I have fun. It's fun to lose. It's fun getting you think it's okay. You're getting whooped on the fucking line. You think it's fun? They ain't even got double team you. He ain't even use a two-handed to block you. You think it's fun? Playing grab ass, you're having fun? Fuck out of here. Get your shit together. Fucking 6'6" and you can't do shit. Get it to fuck 300 something fucking pounds and you're not getting nowhere. Fucking lay on the ground and roll. What the fuck are you talking? I'm getting mad right now. Holy shit. Look, what the fuck are we talking? Look at it, Joe, because shut up, soft. That's how I felt about myself, though. That's how I was treating myself. I was hard on myself. I was trying to get someplace. Right? That shit reflected. He said, yeah, Joe didn't make football fun. Yeah, I didn't make it fun for me either. That was the relationship I had with that. And it projected itself, you know? I had this time where I was managing artists. And they said, I had two rappers. And they basically had stopped turning in music for like the same period of time. I was pissed. And they're mad at me because I keep telling them that their music sucked. Because they were very talented artists. So I'm like, yo, I can tell you're just like, this isn't real. You're forcing some shit. You're thinking too hard. You're not being authentic. Like, that shit sucks. Rewrite it. Redo it. You know? And I was pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, that sucks. That line was bad. This sounds corny. I don't know. Not good. I just spent 4 hours or whatever. Go redo it. Sucks. Whatever. And the same way with myself. I will let you know when I made some bad music. Like, I will definitely let you know. I won't play it for you maybe, but that shit sucks. I will let you know. That's bad. That's some bad shit. That's not good. I don't mind saying that. If I don't mind saying it about myself, I'm going to say it about you, right? These two artists, they weren't turning in the music. And they come over, and they only come over because one's in town. So they come over to my spot. And they start ragging on me. Oh, they on my ass, man. And I'm like, yo, both y'all shut the fuck up. You know? But they started making some really valid points. And they started mimicking me and mocking me and cracking jokes. I thought, damn, I sound like that. I tell you that your shit sucked like that. I discourage you from making music like that. I make you feel insecure about what you create like that. I discourage you from getting on the microphone all because I said it wasn't good like that. And I asked them. I said, this is a problem. I said, I don't want y'all to feel this way. That's not what I want at all. In the least bit. I never wanted anybody to feel bad. Consciously. Subconsciously, different conversation. Obviously, subconsciously, I wanted people to feel bad. I said, but this is what I thought was motivating. This is how I know coaching. I know how to motivate. I had the relationship I had with my coaches. I'm a tough love dude, you know, so you can be on my ass. I don't take it no type of way. Do you say that this is how we're getting better? Let's fucking go. Like, my coaches, man, shit. You know, so when we're getting better, and when we're attempting to grow, and when we're training, all that soft ass cushion shit is out the fucking door. We got to go. That's it. Training season, go time, practice season. Now we're in the season. Training wheels off, helmets on, shoulder pads. Let's go. Game time. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you're taking in enough sodium. Don't be sweating a lot. We're in season. Take care of yourself. going. And do it all right. And if you fuck up, I'm choking you. Why are you choking me, coach? Because you're fucked up. And you need to fucking want to win more than you want to breathe. All right. All right, coach. Coach Sean Bergen. When I used to fuck up, this big-ass, grown-ass man used to wrestle me. I would know I was fucking up in life. Or my mom had called him. And I would walk down to the wrestling room, and this big-ass motherfucker was putting his shoes on. He was dressed up, and he'd look at me. He'd be tucking it in his little gold chain, and he had his little hairs on his head, and he would just say, yep, come on, skinny. I was fat then. I was about 260. I wasn't skinny. He said, come on, skinny. You fucking up. He said, you got me all practice. And Coach Bergen is like a rock, like a boulder. You know? It's like, there's like a Marvel character that's a rock. That's how Coach Bergen is. He's just like a rock. You know, you can't move him, you know? And he's a grown-ass man. I'm a kid. I can whoop my ass all fucking practice, dude. So I come from that type of coaching. Like, get Joe right. Get this boy fucking right. My mama called, get this motherfucker right. I walk in the weight room sometimes. Your mama said you're fucking up. Like, God damn it. How did you find out? I just fucked up. Matter of fact, I hadn't even fucked up yet. I was just talking to her about thinking about fucking up. I was telling my mom that fucking up sounded like a good idea, and my coach is on my ass. My uncle used to be my coach. I come from my uncle coaching me. Jojo, you fucking suck. Yeah, 56. Are you gonna do shit? You're pissing everywhere, 56. Fuck. You're not my nephew today. Where did my sister get you from? I didn't know my sister gave birth to a pussy. Thought she had a son. Wow. He was like, you see, after I called you a pussy, you had about 10 tacos after that. Huh? It worked, huh, nephew? I see what you did there. Don't do that shit again. Stop fucking up. All right, bet. I don't like being called on my fucking name. I'm just kidding. Sometimes that shit was funny to me. But I come from this tougher coaching and having this relationship with my coaches that was on the field, off the field, right? So off the field, my uncle wasn't no asshole to me. My uncle loves me. That's my fucking dude. Like that girl, my uncle being like my second dad, you know? So, but on the field, yeah, hey, bitch, I got you. Fucking suck. Fucking suck. Oh, you fucking blow. Uncle's on my ass. High school, you know? Tough love. So I come from having this tougher relationship with my coaches, having tougher relationships with my teammates. I come from chin-checking my teammates chin-checking me. I never forget. One of my teammates' name is Nick May. My senior year. Nick grew up, but like when me and Nick were in high school, he was like my little brother. 2 years younger, and I knew that because of his athleticism, he was going to be playing with the older kids. So he's varsity wrestling, varsity football, you know, linebacker. And me and Nick would check the fuck out of each other. And there's one time I was fucking up, and I'm cussing the ref out. Oh, I'm letting this ref have it. Because he's a fucking racist bigot. Holy fuck. Trump wasn't even in office yet. They were out here acting like this in Michigan. Holy shit. Like, bro, ref, you're a POS. And you're racist, and you fucking know it. And you're going to have to give us a 15-yard penalty if you want me to shut the fuck up. But since we're so fucking early in the game, and you're a racist POS, I doubt you're going to do that. Because I'm not fucking lying. That's not what I was saying. I was saying probably some other horrendous shit. Nick comes and grabs me. Joe, punch him chest a couple times. Get your shit together. All the other teammates are like, they can't believe I was saying that shit, then they can't believe it happened to me. Those are the relationships that I had. That's how I treated myself. So it worked when it worked, but it didn't work when it didn't work, right? So treating myself like that worked for the betterment of, you know, me and my homeboy Nick May, but it didn't work out for the betterment of, I think the dude's name was Cole, man. He's just like, yeah, Joe's a fucking twat bag. You know, it worked out for the betterment of my music when it worked out for the betterment of my music until it made other people insecure. Until I couldn't figure out how to use this tougher thing or this way I was treating myself, where I couldn't use it all the time for good. When I started to see the negatives that it had, right? Because it was all just how I was treating myself. So how I treated them on the football field and how I allowed myself to get treated back, that's how I was treating myself. You know? How I believed that, right? So you got to think about it. I allowed my coaches to give me tough punishment for me fucking up because, well, that's how I was treating myself anyways. That makes sense. Of course, there's physical punishment to fucking up in school, falling asleep in class. That's what I would think. Of course, there's a physical setback to not keeping your mind right. Right? This is life, truthfully, but I was treating myself like that. Damn, you got a D, you're a POS. So if you get beat up in practice by your coach, things suffice, right? Kind of like you think it's a balancing act. So you start to treat yourself like this until it becomes an imbalance, because it's not. It's all fear-based or negativity or of some sort, right? The relationship that you have with yourself. You're doing things, you're attempting to get wealthy out of the energy of not being poor, you know? So these things, they become rooted in the wrong energy, basically. So even when I was treating myself out of tough love, it was still in the wrong energy. So too much of it fucked up the relationships I was having with people. You know, so I got my artists, and they're like, damn, this, you make us not want to do music. Damn, that same motivation that makes y'all not want to do music makes me want to do music, but on the bad day, also makes me not want to do it too. I just can override it, right? I can override it sometimes, and oh no, I'm better than this, and boom. But if I let that shit fester, I suck at creating. You know, I'm not a good creator. If I don't use it the right way, it is I do also misconstrue it. So when I see them misconstrued it, I say, shit, what does that mean for me? Are there moments where I'm misconstruing or misperceiving my own relationship with myself because you are misperceiving this energy, right? So I'm trying to motivate my football teammate. I'm trying to motivate my fucking my two rappers, right? Trying to motivate these people, and it's becoming unmotivating. I'm like, wait a minute. This shit worked for me sometimes. And there were some times where I was upset at my uncle for how he talked to me in the field, but I had the comprehension to go, that's the game. Just getting better. Some people don't got that. You know, some people don't have the mental bandwidth to switch perception and go, this is a person's way of trying to help me. This is my uncle trying to make me better. My uncle's never not tried to make me better. To the point where I should have listened to his advice when I was in high school, because it probably would have gave me a different outcome. I mean, we're all here for a reason, of course, but if I wanted to go pro, I would have had to take his advice in high school, basically. So the way I was used to things and okay with things, I treated myself as such. I took them in, right? I took in people cracking jokes on me, right? Because I accepted that, and I cracked jokes on myself. Now I'm cracking jokes on people. The bullied becomes the bully, right? That was me, right? So I got all these ways that I've accepted people treating me, and I now treat myself, and now I treat others like this. And there's benefits and there's cons to it, right? So there was a benefit to me coaching my artists the way that I was coached. They tell you, and ain't not name one artist who say I'm not better because that Joe didn't make them better, or that they're not better now because of me. No matter how I said that shit, no matter how I got that shit done, they all want me back. I bet you that. It ain't not name one artist that made some music over here with me and don't want to make that shit again. I promise you. So it worked. I got the best out of mine all the time. I got different out of mine all the time, right? But when it didn't work, it was so just astronomical and just bad, you know? And when I looked, I said, okay. And when I remember telling my artists, like, this is why I'm like this. And they go, oh. And because they used to be athletes, then it clicked. So for them, they were never looking at recording like a sport. I only ever knew sports. So my relationship mentally with everything was like very sport-like. I only ever knew sports. So when I started to do music and create and work, it becomes very sport-like. I told them that, then it clicked. So here's the other thing when it comes to relationships. If we aren't comprehending what we mean when we say something, or the energy behind something, it will get misperceived and misconstrued as something else, right? So my rappers, when I told them this energy is a sports energy, then it clicked. Then they realized, oh, he doesn't hate us. He loves us. He's trying to get us to get better. They started pumping out some of my still to date favorite music. That's the best I've seen them be sometimes. But I had to let them know this is where I'm coming from in this energy. I'm coming from more of a sports perspective when I'm talking to you than a creative perspective. I'm just trying to get you better. So disregard all that soft ass woo-woo shit you had to do to get the words out and all that. I'm not really talking about, I didn't say that your emotions are bad. The emotions that got through these words are fine. What I'm saying is we could drill this in better. We can have a better cadence. We can maybe hit a different melody. I'm just saying that's not a good way to express yourself. I didn't say your expression is bad. I just said that you can express better with this production or you can better play matchmaker when you are looking for a perfect product there of a song rather than just say it to say it, you know? So when my artists understood that, then it helped a lot, right? They started making more music because they weren't so fucking mad at me. These motherfuckers wasn't mad, bro. I wasn't getting music done for like 4 months because of my artists at all. I don't understand. Oh, I do now, sorry. Didn't understand why trying to get the camera to go, you know? I bought this AI motion detective camera. It follows you around, but the motion is holding your hand up and I talk in my hands. So whenever I hold my hands up, it kicks the motion sensor on. So that's also why sometimes you hear me or see me readjusting the camera. So when I realized that the relationships I was having with people, and even in romantic relationships, for the most part, I've had romantic relationships that track fairly well. But that's because I love me a certain way. And I love me a certain way, so I love women a certain way. And I date a certain way. But I also seen the same things. I seen myself treat others how I was treating myself. And even in just interactions, right? So in romantic interactions, when you're kind of seeking or trying to find, you find yourself really just interacting. Like when you're looking, you're really just holding up a bunch of mirrors, you know? And how do I say this? We think that romantically, we think that we're looking for somebody else. When we're looking for a type of reflection of ourselves, basically, is the best way to say it. And I didn't know that. I didn't understand that. So romantically, I went around just kind of chasing reflections of myself. And these were good reflections. These are bad reflections sometimes. And when it was all said and done, and I said, okay, maybe I need to be single for some time. Let me learn myself. What I learned was that at the end of the day, every relationship was only ever contingent on the relationship that I had with myself. And how I was being treated and how I was treating others was only ever contingent on how I treated myself. And everything will line up, right? If I cheated her, I was cheating myself. If I was praising her, I was praising myself. And all the things in between. And it's not that if you cheating her, you cheating yourself because that's your better half. And ain't none of that. If you cheating in one place, you cheating in some other place too. Cheating in bed, cheating at work. Business in your bedroom, they operate the same. So how you operate in your bedroom, that's how you're going to operate in business. And how you operate in business, that's how you're going to operate in your bedroom for sure. One of the things that made me rethink everything as a man is this quote, and it said, you can't trust a man that's cheating on his wife. You can't do no business with him, at least. Because if it's cheating, they ain't talking about open relationships and honesty. He said this man is lying at home, and if he's lying in his bed, he lying to the thing that got his back. He lying to the thing he's with naked. You lying to vulnerability. You lying to the place that is supposed to be your truth. You're bringing negativity in the place that's supposed to be a haven for positivity. You're bringing stress towards what's supposed to be relief. Oh, this man is not going to be good for business. He not good for his bedroom. If you not good for the place you lay, you not good for that place you trying to get paid at, bottom line. I'm preaching right now, bro. Y'all not even shit. Y'all not listening to the shit that I'm saying, man. I'm telling you. I'm not saying you can't have all the women in the world. I'm not saying you can't sleep around. I'm not saying you can't be a lover of many. What I'm saying is you should not be lying. So that man is lying in his bedroom, and you're not being truthful in his bed. You're not being truthful where you rest. You got to lay your eyes in here for 8 hours at a time. And you're not going to be honest in your most vulnerable state. Subconscious only. You're choosing to lie in the place where you have to trust a silver cord. Come on, bro. Lying then. You're going to lie in your most vulnerable state, in the place where you're supposed to be your most vulnerable, and I got to trust you and say you got common sense, and you're not going to lie, cheat, because we suited and booted at work. Get the fuck out of here. That motherfucker going to cheat you too. He cheating himself. It ain't even about how he cheating his wife. How he cheating his kids. Cheating himself too. He's cheating himself out of love. Cheating himself out of proper interactions. Cheating himself out of higher pay rates. Just don't realize it yet. Spend too much time flirting at the water cooler, not spending enough time in his boss's office trying to figure out what the next strategy is. Go out with the intern for drinks instead of going with your boss for a cigar to figure out what your boss's next 6-month plans are for the business in a casual conversation. You don't want to have that shit in the office, but he'll have it at the cigar lounge. Your boss likes to work, but you don't like work that much. You like to cheat yourself. You say you want a diet, but you're going to eat 2 Oreos. That's okay. Just a little. Ain't going to hurt you. How you treat yourself. Undisciplined. Paid attention to no detail. Right? Because you start to see that these things become direct reflections thereof. And when I spent some time with myself and I said, okay, cool, that makes sense. All of it. Pretty satisfied with every relationship that I've had. I believe I was an honest lover. I believe I was authentic in my ways. I believe when I did wrong, I did wrong. When I did right, I did right. You know, so I was pretty satisfied in my romantic relationships, and I may not have liked the outcome of them all, but I looking back, you know, I love the women that I was with. I think they're all great women now. Some are, I'm sure, making whomever they're with happy. And if they're married, they're great wives. If they're going to be married, they're going to be great wives. So pretty satisfied in that area when I reflected, but I realized there's a lot of mirroring because I was at different stages in my life. So I was a different person, and I noticed the contrast between some of these women, right? And it helped to say, okay, things mirrored themselves a lot, right, in that aspect. And then when I looked at external relationships, it was the exact same situation. I treated my friends how I treated myself as a friend. I treated my business colleagues how I treated myself as a business, right? I treated them in relation to one another the same in regards to how I valued them internally, right? So I wasn't a good friend of myself because I wasn't a good friend of my friends. I was a better business partner to my business partners because I put more value in myself as a talent and as a business than I did as a person at a point in time. So these things start to mirror themselves very interestingly. So that's why I say when we start to talk about relationships, we got to start to talk about the relationships we have with ourselves internally, because they become direct reflections with every relationship that we have, right? So thank God that I love myself in a romantic way, because that made me have fun and very enjoyable romantic relationships. But I was very hard on myself and very abusive professionally, right? And from a talent perspective. So then that had its inverse, right? So because I treated myself like that, I found myself in some kind of sticky situations sometimes with some contracts and being glad that things didn't get signed. But having gotten to it, hey, you almost signed your whole fucking life away, buddy. A couple of times, don't do that, right? But that's that's the relationship I had with myself was, and truthfully, I said this in another recording, when you run out of options, this in that episode I talk about getting paid to talk. When you run out of options in one of your bubbles, go back to your source. Because there was a moment where I would run out of options as a producer, as an engineer, and it's like, hey, you're about to have to do this. Like, if you want to take any next step forward, it's gonna be these types of contracts, and you're gonna only ever be a producer. You're gonna only ever be an engineer. Like, you gotta choose, right? And when I would get there, I would get okay. I know I'm a producer. I know I'm an engineer right now, but let me go back to the real reason why. I would go back to source and oop, can't do it. Sorry. Because this makes it so that I can never go be an artist whenever I want, or this fucks me as an artist, and I cannot do that, right? So I would, in those moments where my professional relationship with myself was a bit workaholic, workhorse, just get it done, like fuck it, you can make more. I just not healthy in regards to my artwork. I was viewing myself like that, and treating myself like that, and the reflections came. The only thing that saved me was the romance that I had for myself, because that was a source of love. Like, okay, you're not treating yourself right professionally, but you don't ever want bad for yourself. You don't ever want yourself to not really feel good at all. So if this is going to change your source, I could never let an extension of me change the source of me. And when I would get to those points, I would just let a source answer be the answer for them all. Basically, the best way I can explain it is, like you're a tree with branches. And if you don't like the fruit your branches are putting out, change that shit from your tree trunk, from your roots. Send it up, right? And then you're good. So I just start kind of changing things like that. And when I begin to change the relationship with myself, the relationship I have with other people changed. When I begin to stop putting myself down, other people stop putting me down. When I begin to educate myself and give light to myself, people begin to give light to me. When I begin to do anything, because we're just mirroring. And it was two things that I decided to do. I decided to meet action with action. I believe that part of the human experience, a part of being, again, this depends on your belief system, but law of Moses states that all humans, all people in the body are considered gods, right? So I believe that a part of this experience of learning how to be a god, or learning how to go from demigod to creator god, I believe that a part of this is part of the learning experience that we need to grasp is meeting action with action, because to meet action with action means that you're going to bring something in from the outside to disrupt. And we can think that action is reaction, but not really. So of course to every action there's a reaction, but most actions have let's say an odds in the reactions, right? This will happen, or maybe this will happen, or there's odds in the possibilities that will happen, right? So when we start to play that odds game, we can draw up the reactions. We can say, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. But sometimes you don't like any of those things. So you have to now meet action with action, because the reactions don't suffice. Because the reactions will keep it. It's almost like, it's like, okay, I got vanilla ice cream, and I'll start putting toppings on it. And now the vanilla ice cream starts reacting to the toppings. Yeah, okay, now you put all these fucking toppings in it. You can't possibly change this vanilla to chocolate. So now you need to meet this ice cream action these reactions with this new action. Get rid of it, chocolate ice cream. Well, what about the vanilla? Doesn't matter. Yeah, but nope, new action. And it's like causing a type of reset with the same thing, kind of, right? So a person makes you upset, somebody slaps you, and you're like, I got a couple options. Slap them or don't slap them back, right? Yeah, you got those options, but you can probably also meet that with a different type of action too. What? I don't know. It's on you. You got to take in the details, but action can change. Like action can redirect something, right? So instead of making action number one, so there's action number one, and it makes a bunch of reactions. Instead of hoping that the reactions alter action number one, just make action number one have to meet action number two. And when 1 and 2 meet, something's going to have to happen. And it'll cause its own reactions that we can go from, basically, So that's kind of how I look at things. Sometimes if reactions don't suffice, meet action with action. So make something meet something else that is not a part of its stems. Make a tree meet a new tree, basically, right? Because a lot of trees react to their stems, just like that. When I say meet action with action, make a tree meet a new tree. That new tree will help the other tree grow, because the tree's not helping itself right now, right? Basically. So when I did two things of meeting action with action and what's the other one? Oh, so I wanted to change. So let's meet action with action. I'm tired of being reactive, so let's meet action with action. But then I also I read that. I believe in loopholes. I think the holy book that of the Jewish people and the Christians holds a bunch of spiritual loopholes. Shit says you'll be met with the same judgment that you judge others. Add that with all the parable shit, and it'll really take you to some places. Whew, so I'm about to be judged how I judge others. Yep. Oh, fuck, I got to. How am I judging people? Let's start taking some mental notes. I don't like these mental notes. You got to change this, I started meeting this action with action, because I wanted to change the judgmental thoughts that I had up for people. I wasn't even judging them hard, but just fuck, somebody walks by me. I don't like your energy. And I don't know why, but fuck you. And ooh, why are you sitting next to me? Why are you walking on a treadmill like that? The fuck is wrong with you? I had to start changing some of these thoughts. Truthfully, I ain't doing no harm to nobody. I'm just thinking out loud. Your action made me react a certain way. Shit. You walked in here like this. It made me react a certain way. That ain't my fucking fault. I didn't give it to you. I just, made me react a certain way. And because I wanted to change my reactions, I had to meet that with action for a moment. That way, I had to meet action one with action two. And action two is love. So I just started meeting everybody's action with love. That way I could change the way I was reacting to everything. Because my initial reactions were just probably like cracking jokes on everybody in my head, basically. It's like laughing and shit. Had to change the reason why I smiled. I'm not going to smile because I'm laughing at you. I'm going to smile because I'm loving you, you know? I had to change that because sometimes laughing at other people's expenses, even though we deem it comedy, sometimes it's not. You know, sometimes it's just not good energy to sit in, you know? So I, when I started changing those two things in myself, I seen that it had to change in the relationships that I have with other people. People talk to me how I talk to myself. They do. I promise you. People regard me how I regard myself. People regard me how I regard them. Because I'm regarding people how I regard myself. There was, in this book, when it says you'll be met with that same judgment, I thought it was interesting because another, not another holy book, but just a book, said you can only want for yourself what you want for others. So if you want more for yourself, just start by wanting more for others because they both are the same thing. What you want for yourself is what you want for others. I thought, shit, I want this motherfucker to get out my fucking way. I want this motherfucker to jump off a bridge. That's not good. I don't want that shit for myself. I got to change these things that I want for other people. How can I want more for other people? How can I want love for other people? How can I want these things that I don't give a fuck about you? I got to love you. I ain't got to care about you. You know? And that helped me a lot because it's like, well, I don't know, it just can kind of be confusing, I guess. And we're at an hour and 25 minutes, and third time I'm spacing out. It's not bad. Clock that for the record. And I think we might be able to wrap up this episode, actually. I can talk about this for forever. So we're going to wrap this one up, and maybe somebody says something in the comment section and it's like, hey, talk about this, or maybe something else sparks more conversation along this line, because I can keep talking about this. And I feel like I haven't really talked about much, actually. I feel like I've just been yapping, but I really do believe that if we're going to talk about relationships, we need to first start talking about the internal relationships we have amongst ourselves. Those are the relationships that haven't left us. You know, those are the relationships that will always be with us. Those are the ones that are really molding us. We think it's our relationship with our parents, but it's really our relationship with ourselves that's making us react a certain way with our parents, with our spouse, with our children, with our bosses, with our homeless person down the street, with our mayor, with the cashier, with whoever. Is all of the way that we are interacting with ourselves when we don't interact with people. Because when we interact with people, these things are automatic triggers. We're just interacting. You don't realize you interacted until you interacted, you know? So you had to ask yourself, where did I train myself to interact with other energies like this? How you first interacted with your own energy, you know? How did I learn how to interact with a human like this? How you first learned how to act with your human form? How did I learn how to love a person like this? How you learn to love yourself like that? Because some of the things, and it's not that all of these things are self-taught, is that these things become self-applied and then self-projected, right? So you intake some shit, then you teach yourself, then it projects itself out. So it's not like all these things are self-taught. Life gives us these things, and we choose to hold on to them or discard them, however we are going to do this shit, you know? So I believe that in talking about relationships, first we got to talk about ourselves, because that's going to take you everywhere. That's going to make you fall in love. That's going to make you fall into hatred. That's going to show you bliss. That's going to show you envy. That's going to show you every fucking thing possible when you go, what's my relationship with me? You know? You think you have a good relationship with your spouse? Do you got a good relationship with yourself? You can answer that question. You can say that you're pleasing your spouse. You can say that your spouse may be happy with your actions, but is the relationship healthy? Are you afraid to put the car on the road and drive it because the road got a lot of potholes? It's not a good relationship between the road and the tires. It's about to fuck up your car. You know what I mean? Like, do we really have a healthy relationship? You know? Do you really know the oven you cooking on? Do you and your oven have a healthy relationship? Did you learn yourself? If you learned yourself, it probably would have been easy for you to learn the manual for the oven. Wouldn't have burned yourself. Oh, but you burn yourself in life. Of course, you let the oven burn you. You don't take the fucking proper steps to learn shit on yourself. So, no, you didn't read the manual they gave you at work, and yet they grease popped you because you didn't read the manual they gave you for your life, and yeah, that motherfucker got you. You know? So we got to start asking ourselves and reminding ourselves that the relationships we have with ourselves are they're all going to project and reflect the relationships we have with other people, other things, other energies, our jobs, other objects, everything, you know? And on that note, I love you all. This was a great conversation. I liked this one a lot. I'm going to try to expand on this more because I think that there's something here with self and getting to know self. I think that there truly is. I think it's the best stepping stone for anything. You want to get to know other humans, get to know yourself. It'll allow you. Give yourself the capacity first, and you can give that to other people. Give understanding to yourself first, and you can then give that to other people. Again, I love this. What you wish to give, what you wish to have, make it, give it away, and know that when you made it and gave it away, you had it, and you made it so well that you can give it away. You know, so with these things that we seek, let's make them on the inside first. You want a healthy romantic relationship? Put one on the inside of you first. Start taking yourself out on dates. Treat yourself as you wish to be treated, and you'll start to attract and demand that only, I promise you. People won't treat you less or better than how you treat yourself. So I don't know how you're treating yourself today, but I'm going to meet you with some action and let you know that I love you. I thank you for being here. I appreciate you listening to another episode of a podcast by Joe Lewis. Make sure you're listening to the music. Make sure you're consuming the social media, all the entertainment. If you can hear me, if you can see it, I'm there. There's a Joe Lewis somewhere. You just got to go find it, my baby. Have a great rest of your day.